Welcome back, everybody. We're moving on to active transport now. So, whereas passive transport does not require any energy to work, active transport does. That energy is actually going to be in the form of ATP, which we get from cellular respiration, which is from the last unit. So, it's usually used when you need to transport substances from areas of low concentration to high concentration. Again, the opposite of passive transport. One thing that will help you remember what active transport is to just think of the opposite of what passive transport is. Passive transport does not require energy, active transport does. Passive transport usually refers to diffusion or facilitated diffusion, where substances go from an area of high concentration to low concentration because that's just natural. Active transport is going to transport substances from low concentration to high concentration. It's also used when a cell needs to get things in or out more quickly than would happen with passive transport, or when the cell needs to take in a very large molecule or eat another cell. We're going to go over examples of all three of these things. Oh, before I move on, one thing that is an example of needing things quickly to pass through a membrane is during the process of the light-dependent reactions in photosynthesis. Hydrogen ions need to be pumped through the photosystems more quickly than they would naturally move through them. So, and also at that, against the concentration gradient from an area of low to high concentration. That's an example of active transport. So protein pumps, kind of like a photosystem. You need ATP to help power this protein pump, and I don't know if you could see it, but this shaded thing here in the middle, that's actually an arrow pointing to the left. It's pointing to the left because it's trying to show you that these green pieces of material here are going to be pumped through to the other side on the left. You need ATP energy to do that because if this were to naturally diffuse on its own, the area of higher concentration would diffuse this way. So you need a pump and ATP to power it to force them the other way. All right, because all these things are pushing them the other way, so the ATP is going to force it backwards. So you're going to use energy from ATP molecules or high energy electrons to pump substances forcefully into or out of the cell. You use energy to pump substances to already crowded areas. And we're going to watch this video, okay? Actually, I encourage you to stop and watch this video on your own. I will post the link here, and you can copy and paste it into your browser and watch it. All right, moving on to endocytosis. So I'm about to talk about endocytosis and exocytosis. They have nothing to do with protein pumps. All right, we're moving on to kind of a different kind of active transport. So in active transport, we can be talking about protein pumps is one type, endocytosis is another type, and exocytosis. All right, so we're now on the second one, endocytosis. This brings substances into the cell inside of these small vacuoles, kind of like little small pockets or vesicles. Usually used for very large substances or water crossing the cell membrane, like food. It's used to bring food into the cell right? Which so that it can break it down into glucose and use that glucose to help start cellular respiration. All right, so here's the parts of it. There's a bunch of stuff outside the cell that the cell wants. So it's going to create a little pocket and enclose them in that pocket, or vacuole or vesicle. And that's it. And then these will be transported off to different areas. The mitochondria, so it can use the glucose, or I'm sorry, heck, glucose is actually going to be used right there in the cytoplasm during glycolysis. Okay. Here's a type of endocytosis. You've seen this GIF before. It's the one where you take some pills, which are the antibiotics. They release antibodies into your system. They're used by the white blood cells to help connect them to the bacteria so that it can bring it inward. Well, that process is actually an example of endocytosis. It's more in this case, it's more specifically called phagocytosis because this little like thing here, that's growth that's coming off of the cell, is called a phagocyte, and it's just one type of endocytosis. There's another type called penocytosis, which will be gone over in a moment. Or I'm sorry, penocytosis was just regular endocytosis. Okay, so then there's exocytosis. Exocytosis is the opposite of endocytosis. It's going to send stuff out of the cell. Both endocytosis and exocytosis are considered to be forms of active transport because they require ATP, they require energy. All right, so this is the opposite. You have a bunch of stuff in the cell that the cell does not want. Maybe it's waste. All right, so it's just going to put it in a little pocket in a vesicle and move it to the outside and just get rid of it. Release it into, I don't know, the bloodstream, where the blood will then filter it out as it passes through the kidneys, right? And that's it. Really quick. Tomorrow we're going to be reviewing this material, all right? And otherwise, cool.